as a Mississauga Anishinaabeg Indigenous woman who's not murdered and not missing, I feel like I have a responsibility to speak out and to speak to this issue. And I think that Indigenous women in Canada have been targeted since the beginning of colonization as a way of getting at the land. And so today we're seeing sort of the results of, in some places, 400 years of targeting, of land loss, of dispossession, of erasure of Indigenous people from our homelands. And so I think that the issue of missing and murdered Indigenous women is something that's very much linked to the colonization and the ongoing settler colonialism in Canada. And it's an issue that we have to look at really, really broadly. It's not just a matter of being vulnerable. It's not just a matter of being brown. It's not just a matter of being a woman. There's a context to the issue that I think is really important in its framing. These women are women that we're connected to. They're our aunties and our daughters and our mothers and our grandmothers and our children. So I think there's a feeling of tremendous sadness. I think there's a feeling of anger because this keeps happening over and over and over again. And there are people that have been working on this issue for decades, and it's only sort of been recently that it's even made it into the mainstream media. So I think there's a lot of frustration and there's a lot of anger as well. And I think there's a sense of urgency. I'm a mother and I have a daughter, and I don't want her to grow up in a country where she's targeted and where she has a much greater chance of being a victim of violence simply because she's Indigenous. If we start to talk about land and we start to talk honestly about what has happened and what is ongoing, because as an Anishinaabe person, I don't have access to my homeland. We're in my homeland right now, and downtown Toronto is on top of it. So I think we have to have some honest conversations about land and how we're going to share land and resources and how we're going to treat each other. And some of those conversations are difficult, and some of those conversations are not difficult. I think Indigenous women are looking for a really basic level of human respect, and I think that that's not difficult. When I read the comments sections in some of online on maybe the CBC website or the Globe and Mail website, I see this kind of racism that I sometimes forget exists. But I think for most Canadians, I think that they can't name the First Nations community that is close to them. I think they don't know whose territory they're on. And I think that there's a group of Canadians that doesn't want to offend and wants to do things in a good way but doesn't know how. And so I think kinds of conversations and education and reaching out and learning from each other in that instance is really a powerful tool for transformation. I'm sort of standing up in my territory on the stage and being honest about who I am and what I think, and using my voice and doing it in an artistic way. So I think that this isn't a cause for me. This is my life, and this is something that I live with every day, and so do all the Indigenous women on the stage and in the audience. And so I think that I'm bringing a combination of vulnerability and strength to it.